So good Tai Chi posture. We're going to commence. And in all Yang style Tai Chi, the commencing is the same, pretty much, okay? Your good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulder, tucking the butt, hollowing the chest, chin slightly down, glance out into infinity, good thoughts going on in your mind, tongue on your palate, head straight up, 50-50. Slowly put the weight on your right, 60, 70, 80, allows that left heel to come up, 90, 100 open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate, take a deep breath in as we elevate and draw up the water using our core. Shoulder level, reverse the process. How? Tuck the elbow, drop the shoulders, flex the knee, push down that water. Left hand in the center, right hand rises up higher. Open the palms to the ceiling. Watch the back or right hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck as both hands meet in the center. And how are we going to repulse the monkey? Push him away and drag him down. Center the right. Look at the left, that's higher. Open the palms to the ceiling. Bring the back hand or left hand to the ear. Turn the head and neck, meet the hands in the middle, and repulse the monkey. Here we go. We're going to brush our knee. How? T stance, parallel and higher. Do you look like me? We just warmed this one up. We're in a T stance. Now we're going to get into an L stance. All together. Ear, drop the hand, put out the heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist, step, root down, store the energy, set it up correctly. All together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Good. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step. We're going to hold our ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out on an L, move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. T stance with the ball. L stance. Move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Refreshing our memory for, we're at 3 o'clock, so that gives us a cue that we're in cloud hands. Flip the forward hand so you no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand where you can see the palm. The hands are staggered. You're in a good Tai Chi posture, you're in a bow stance. You're going to sit back and sit down, twist, step. What happens? The hands went to about 12 o'clock when we twisted. We didn't move our hands. To get out to the 9 o'clock, we're going to have to pivot on our left heel and move our hips and waist. Our hips and waist are the drivers of our body, drivers of our motion. What are we going to do? Pivot on the left heel, turn the hips and waist. There goes 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. What? Flip the hand, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem and a cup. Turn the hips and waist out to 3 o'clock. What? 2 things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. Coming to 12, we're about 50-50 in our distribution of weight. Turn the hips and waist to 9 o'clock. What? 1 thing happens. Only flip the hands. Move the hips and waist to 12. Move the hips and waist to 3. 2 things happen. Flip the hands. Close the feet. 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands. Open the feet. At 3 o'clock, only 1 thing happens. Flip the hands. But at 12 o'clock, we shift our weight to the left And allow our right foot to be weightless and come up as a golden cockerel. Shift the weight to the right and come up as a golden cockerel. Down, shift the weight to the right, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out, right, down, shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out, left. Holding our ball on a T-stamp, so right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Remember, we're gonna have to ward off. We have to put some martial arts in there, okay? So T stance, step out on an L, bottom hand advances, you forearm your opponent, you push him out. You just need that space that he can't come to. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, palm to palm, but staggered. You're gonna grasp the bird's tail by sitting back, sitting down, turning at the hips and waist, contacting at your wrist, turn the hips and waist, center of the body, push the energy through, separate the energy and roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Other side, sit back, sit down, twist, step. T, stance, holding your ball. What are we gonna do? Forearm our opponent. Here we go. Step out on an L, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances, push them out. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, sit down, sit back, turn at your hips and waist to look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, center of the body, push the energy through, separate your hands, roll back, sit down, store the energy so you can power him up and push him out. Closing form, sit back, sit down, twist with the left heel, pivot on the right heel to open, pivot on the right heel to close, embrace the tiger, put the right hand inside the cross, weight down heavily on the left so you can move your right, turn at your wrists so that your palms are facing you at shoulder level. Bring the tiger closer to you slightly to get that momentum to push him out using the force of your core and your wrists. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, tuck your elbows, put it to the thigh, left heel comes up, off the ground, toe down, arch down, closing form. Okay? How was that? A lot of work or fun? How many say fun? How many say a lot of work? Yeah, a lot of work makes fun, right? So I think you can see that this is only our 5th week, but we've somehow put 10 movements to a well-organized, well-choreographed Yang 10 form, and it's sure rough. It's rough in that there are a lot of little edges that need to be polished up and refined, but hey, that's the beginning of Tai Chi, right? I think over the 5 weeks, you've intook a lot of knowledge, perhaps learned something more about your body that, you know, it's pretty old that we have. I'm speaking for myself, but, you know, over time, you can maybe gain back some of that flexibility that we once had when we were young. And how do you do that? Learning more about your body and what it can do, and doing some of the routine over and over again. Over the space of time, I know that probably you've gotten a little bit more muscle strength. Perhaps you've learned to form your footing or your stance a little bit more safely, maybe not consciously doing it, but some of that is conscious, but other times it's just because you've been working at it a little bit more that you realize, yeah, it's only the weightless foot then that can advance. And once this guy is grounded out, then the other one can take its chance, okay? All right.
You folks are getting a lot of things pushed at you, and I'm going to put a little bit more, but I want to just go down to a little bit of basics. I want everybody to just stand the way they are. Feel what your legs are doing, what your body's doing. And the next thing I want you to do is bend your knees. Go back up. Bend your knees. The next time you go, we're going to come up here. The next time you go down, I want you to feel what happens to the amount of pressure, if you will, down to the lower parts of your legs. Right now, everything is sort of just nice, stretched and rigid, and you're just standing on sticks. And you don't get the feeling, maybe as much as you will, that you're touching the ground. But when you drop down, what happens? You get more of an attention in your mind that my feet are in contact, and I am, one, becoming more stable, but the pressure is on my feet, and I become more aware of your feet. That's why we want you in Tai Chi to not be straight-legged and watch Lucille and stay there. And when you're ready to go, then you're ready. And only when you finally do this, you come down. When you're standing in normal Tai Chi posture, hopefully you learn just a little looseness in the knee, not locked. The knees are not locked. That already gives you a feeling of contact to the ground. And although, another thing added to that, although we do a lot of moving of the tips or our ankles, and we're doing some of this, we do some of this, almost invariably, the back foot never does this, okay? From a martial arts standpoint, you're going to be out of balance. And where is the weight? The weight is on this foot. And your opponent grabs you and says, come along. You're just going to keep going. Versus, if both feet are on the ground and the guy grabs you, and you're down here, if you sit down even more, it's going to take a lot more work for him to move you. By the same token, if you're walking along and you say, I'm going to go and tiptoe here in your everyday work, because I'm just going to grab one of these things. Nobody's going to pull you, but gravity is going to take you and you're going to fall. Okay? So that's another one. And the third thing, I sort of make it a joke, but in Tai Chi, no parts of your body is unemployed. In a given movement, all of them are employed. And related to that, when you first begin, the term is brush knee. But what do you see? You see this, this, this. What happened to the brush knee? The brush knee sort of is an afterthought, or not even a thought at all, because you know that you have to do this, and the hand is dangled here. So you don't want to do that. From here, step brush knee. In fact, this helps you, because it says, if this is going this way, what does the other part of the body have to do? Stay this way? No. They all help you in concert. And the function from a martial arts standpoint is you've got to protect yourself before you get access to your opponent. Protect yourself. Brush whatever he's coming toward you. Brush it away. And meanwhile, you're getting your offense into position. Brush the knee. See? Brush the knee. Continue to brush the knee, and you strike off. Okay? The movement here, some people, when it comes to getting yourself cocked up, this hand is staying here. Oh, I've got to get it back up here. Bring it. It's moving. Everybody's moving. Otherwise, what happens is, oh yeah, I got to get back down here. So think about that. No part of your body is, quote, unemployed when you're performing an act. And it's your job to figure out, how do I address the activity which seems less obvious, because it's already caught your eye to do this or to do this. If you're warding off, it's not just warding off. Two hands are working. Okay? This hand is potentially blocking, but it's getting into position. So I'm going to come forward, and I'm going to round his arm, and I'm going to grab him. So push him away, so he's away from you, and you can see what's going on over here. But you're also, if he happens to be wanting to punch you, kick you, you can practice this. And then you've got him where you want him. Well, you want him. You've pushed him away, but he hasn't gone away far enough to stay out of trouble. Then you're in contact, and you know different parts of his body, and it just happens maybe one of his arms are like that. So you switch around, grab the arm right here, and you come forward and you grab his wrist and you pull him down. You don't just pull down this way, you turn. Just imagine what you're doing to the guy's elbow. It's going to be stretched out this way, and you're going to turn him because you're turning him. Ward off. Turn. See how my hand goes? Although she tells you just to do this, that's a stylized. But if you say you're really going to use it for action, ward off, grab, turn. This is coming down, and this is doing, I'm sorry, not this way, it's turning this way. That will turn the joint, straighten your elbow, and it doesn't bend too well that way. But those are the applications. But remember, at this stage, you know what the obvious one part of the movement that you see, and you're going to address that. It's almost automatic. Look for the portion that's not so obvious. The brush knee or ward off, okay? Stay flat on your feet, bend your knees.
It's important to do the movements correctly, and what can help is that you create images in your mind as to what you're doing, and that will come over time. But rather than be oblivious to where the movement comes from, since all of Tai Chi is based on martial arts, but now turned into a meditative dance routine. So I guess what Ken's trying to say is that if you can have an ideal world, you will not just look only at that forward hand, but you will also look at the hand or the whole body as to what each limb or thing is doing simultaneously to get that blow out or to get that force out. So we talk about, in a general way, opposites attract, yin and yang. So one comes out, one comes in. And there are many, many ways of approaching a discipline through martial arts, through me, and then yet we can decorate it a little bit more and add more stuff to it. We could also say that the other hand is a counterbalance hand, and what is it doing here? It's not going to sleep like he says. We didn't cover that. Lots of people will then look, like he says, at the outward hand, and then they forget about this guy. But this is the guy that keeps you erect and keeps you in good form, keeps you in the best optimal position where your energy can flow. But once it goes to sleep, the energy just went stripped down there and nothing coming through the system holding you so that you are in good balance, in strong, sturdy, secure position. So oftentimes I refer this hand, because we didn't really talk about it. So don't, when we fill it with detail, I still want you to get the feeling that the power of the hips and waist after you multitask brings you around. And how did I finish it off? I turn my hips and waist. The energy simultaneously comes through the back of my foot, turn my hips and waist, and comes down. I'm secure now, okay? You could come here, Sheila could come here and push me, and perhaps I would still keep my stance. But if this guy goes down and she pushes me from this, I have nothing secure here. So I often refer to this hand as holding another ball. You don't want it to go to sleep.
It's all been worked out for people that want to fight, but it's worked out so we can use the same paradigm for our body improvement, both physically and mentally. When you do the movements in the proper way, you will get the benefits that martial artists get in terms of staying in balance and delivering as much energy as they can in a concerted way. And of course, you're going to move your muscles that you may or may not have moved before. I remember one of our longtime students when he first started, after the first day, he said, "Hey, is your body supposed to hurt the next day?" And I said, "It probably does, because you're moving something that you've never moved before. And your body is telling you, I never knew that was there, but the next day you do."
Okay, good. And just to add something, we're here to strengthen our core. So if we only looked at where the forward hand goes and forget about this guy that's coming out and forget about this guy, we're not engaging our core. Anybody could just go like this, right? It's only having to do with very little upper shoulder, but mainly this forearm here and the wrist and the fingers. So you want to always engage the core, okay? All right, 5 minutes. Any questions first? Any questions? So what I want to do now is do the 10 form again, okay? 10 form, and let's see how all our movements are put together. Okay, let's have fun. Let's relax, let's calm down, let's center ourselves, let's use our core. Commencing form, shift weight to the right, open, 50-50, hands rotate, take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands, shoulder level, push down the water, make yourself small, flex your knee. Left hand remains in the middle, right hand is higher, open to the ceiling. Watch that back hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet in the center with both hands. Repulse of the monkey, pushing and pulling him. Center, left hand higher. Open the front hand to the ceiling. Watch the back hand to the ear. Turn the head and neck. Meet in the center. Repulse the monkey. T-stance, right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder. We're going to multitask to brush our knee all together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist fully to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. T-stance, set it up correctly. All together, multitask. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back and sit down, twist step. Root down, T stance, hold your ball for better centering. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Cloud hands, Flip the forward hand, no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand. We're at 3 o'clock and we'll work to get to 9 o'clock. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, 12 o'clock. Pivot with your left heel, go out to the 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Use your hips and waist to get to 12, continually to get to 3. Flip the hands, open the feet, 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, only one thing happens. Flip the hands. Use your hips and waist to get out to 3. Here it is. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock. 2 things happen at 9. Ready? Flip hands, open. 12 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, only one thing happens. Cloud hands ends and turns us into a what? Shift weight to the left. Right hand comes up, right foot comes up, golden cockerel. Down, shift weight to the right, left foot comes up, left hand comes up, push down, push up. Down, 50-50, shift weight to the left, right hand on the outside, right foot getting ready to come up, and kick out right. Down, shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside of the cross, left foot coming up, kick out left. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to the right to forearm our opponent. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to push out your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands. Grasp the bird's tail. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn again at the hips and waist, push the energy through from the center. Separate the hands, roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down, twist step. You're going to hold your ball for better centering on a T stance. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Push him out. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up and lunge forward. Apparently closing, twist, step, open twist, in, pivot. Embrace with the right hand inside the cross. Shift your weight over. Rotate on your wrist so that the palms are facing you so that you could bring the tiger closer to your chest. Push them out. Separate the energy. Close your forearm. Drop the shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex the knees. Gravity brings you back all the way home. In form. Shift weight to the right. Open. 50-50. Hands rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. Shoulder level. Push down the water. Make yourself small. Flex your knee. Left hand remains in the middle. Right hand is higher. Open to the ceiling. Watch that back hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet in the center with both hands. Repulse of the monkey, pushing and pulling him. Center, left hand higher. Open the front hand to the ceiling. Watch the back hand to the ear. Turn the head and neck. Meet in the center. Repulse the monkey. T stance. Right hand higher. Left hand to the shoulder. We're going to multitask to brush our knee. All together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist fully to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. T stance, set it up correctly. All together, multitask. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. Hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. Root down. T-stance. Hold your ball for better centering. Step out on an L. Bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Cloud hands. Flip the forward hand. No longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand. We're at 3 o'clock and we'll work to get to 9 o'clock. Sit back. Sit down. Twist step. 12 o'clock. Pivot with your left heel, go out to the 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Use your hips and waist to get to 12, continually to get to 3. Flip the hands, open the feet. 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, only one thing happens. Flip the hands. Use your hips and waist to get out to 3. Here it is. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock. 2 things happen at 9. Ready? Flip hands, open. 12 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, only one thing happens. Cloud hands ends and turns us into a what? Shift weight to the left. Right hand comes up, right foot comes up. Golden cockerel. Down, shift weight to the right. Left foot comes up, left hand comes up. Push down, push up. Down, 50-50. Shift weight to the left. Right hand on the outside, right foot getting ready to come up and kick out right. Down, shift weight to the right. Left hand on the outside of the cross, left foot coming up, kick out left. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to the right to forearm our opponent. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to push out your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands. Grasp the bird's tail. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn again at the hips and waist, push the energy through from the center. Separate the hands, roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down, twist step. You're going to hold your ball for better centering on a T stance. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Push him out. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up and lunge forward. Apparently closing, twist step, open twist, in pivot. Embrace with the right hand inside the cross. Shift your weight over. Rotate on your wrist so that the palms are facing you so that you could bring the tiger closer to your chest. Push them out. Separate the energy. Close your forearm. Drop the shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex the knees. Gravity brings you back all the way home. Okay. So with that, hopefully you've brought a little sensation of relaxation, maybe a sense of peacefulness. Okay? And that's Tai Chi. Okay? Good job. Okay, see you next time.